Good evening, everybody. We're back.
Hi.
This time we're going to be talking to Patti Negri, the psychic medium.
We are not going to hang around. We're going to bring her straight on.
Hi,
Hi,
guys.
Patti. How are
Hi.
you?
I am well. Thank you so much for having me. This is great.
Pleasure, pleasure.
Oh, thank you for joining us.
I literally just got off a plane, so happy to be here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Busy day then.
Busy
How was the
day.
flight?
It was really good because they said it could be. I was in Colorado. I was filming Beyond Belief with George Norrie at Gaia, the Gaia Studios, Gaia.com. And whenever you fly, usually over the Grand Canyon, it's really bumpy. They always say going into Denver, going past the Rockies, it's really bumpy. On the way out, it was a little bumpy, but the way back, it was smooth. But it was beautiful. I mean, I guess everybody knows the Grand Canyon. It's this major thing. On the way out, it was beautiful, and you saw the red and green and all the colors of rocks. On the way back, it was covered with snow, so it was just blanketed in white. It was the Colorado River through it was all white. It was pretty amazing from 30,000
That
feet.
does sound amazing.
Yeah,
That really does sound amazing.
So jealous.
Beautiful.
We want to go over to America.
Yeah, I'd love to go to America. Never been.
Gotta come.
Love
Lots
to go.
to see.
Yeah,
Oh.
definitely. Lots of places to go investigate as well.
Lots of places to go investigate. All
It's funny,
sides.
it's funny. A lot of people from America want to come over here, and we want to go over there.
Well, that's because it's always greener on the other side. But we have some
Yeah.
great haunted ghosts. But we want to go there because your guys are older than us. You have older ghosts and spaces because we're too new of a country. And I'm on the West Coast, so we're even newer than the East Coast. For me, something old is like, ooh, it's 100 years old. Wow. Or the oldest things we have out West is like the mining towns, like Virginia City and Nevada City, Butte, Montana, all these places, but they're still not that old as compared to where you guys are. So we want to go see all the old places and the old ghosts. But we'll show you we have fun Hollywood ghosts, fun Becky's ghosts.
What do swap seats?
Yeah, we're happy to swap.
Well, yeah, we could do that thing, like exchange students, exchange paranormal investigators.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, I reckon that would work.
Sounds good. So, could you tell the viewers that are watching that don't know you just a little bit about you and what you do?
Yes, I am a psychic. I am a medium. From birth, I've been talking to dead people since I could talk. I just knew that the so-called imaginary friend under the bed and in the closet weren't imaginary. They were real beings and spirits I could talk to and get real information. I was always obsessed with the dead, but never in a morbid or dark way. I literally did my first seance, which is one of the things I'm known for, when I was 7 or 8 years old in my little suburban Los Angeles home with the halls with no windows, closed all the doors and then realized I didn't know any dead people. So I'm like Marilyn Monroe and everybody I knew of 7 or 8 years old, and my lightless, windowless hallway filled with orbs and lights. And I just knew that I had raised the veil and shut the veil, and thus it began. And I've been doing it ever since. And on the witchy side, I'm also a witch. I've just also been attached to nature very much. I would, at the same thing, I'm a little kid where everybody else is making mud pies. I would be knowing if I picked the mint in my mom's garden and put it in her purse with some rosemary, and she would bring her money and what to do. It's just kind of in me. And I live in Hollywood.
Yeah.
I live in Hollywood, so I've always been in the entertainment business as well. I run a production company for the last 20 years. But since 2008, when the corporate production market kind of fell and reality television came up, I stayed away from it, even though I was working. I was a psychic medium and I was a witch. I couldn't publicly be. And in 2008, when that whole kind of crash came, I was asked to do a TV show because they knew my ability with seances. And I'm like, no, I won't do that. I'll act. I won't let them see this side. But they talked me into it because I figured it was a show nobody would see. It was a mobile home makeover show on country music television. And I'm like, oh, nobody will watch that. I'll do it. And I fell in love with the genre of reality. It's like, I get to be me. I get to be legit. I get to do what I do. I don't have to memorize lines. They follow me around with 3 cameras. I get to give my other message of whatever that is. And I fell in love. And then when my first corporate call, it said, "Oh, I saw you on TV last night." And I'm like, "Oh, I'll never work for whatever bank do shows again." And it was quite the opposite. She didn't know, "I didn't know you were into the paranormal. I love the paranormal." So that world took over, and I kind of became the go-to person for Jeff Lewis flipping out, for Nicole Richie working bad, but all the shows here. And the one I settled on the most, or the one that most people watch, especially in our world, in the paranormal world, would be Ghost Adventures. In 2015 was my first, so I work regularly with Zach and Aaron and Jay and Billy, and it's always fun because I never know what I'm getting into at all. They keep it from me so clearly. Even on this last Cecil House, he had teased me like a week or two before, said, "We're going to be in LA and I'm going to call you." Like, okay. 2 hours before, he called me, said, "Can you come now? Here's the address." I didn't know I was going to the Cecil Hotel. I didn't know anything. And that's how he always does it. But it's good. I'm always afraid, like, oh gosh, what if I don't get it? Because I don't get to know what went on there. But the places they go are so haunted. There's no doubt that I'm going to figure out what went on.
Yeah.
We did actually have a question for you about that.
Sure.
We were going to say, how did all this start for you with Ghost Adventures?
The first one, it's so funny. It was the Haunted Hollywood. I think it was 2015, and they were doing they were at the American Legion Hall, and they had heard that I had experienced the ghost of Charlie Chaplin there. So the first time I went, I was literally just called in. Like every episode, they have that local person who experienced either the paranormal investigator or the psychic or the witness. So I was called in for that. And I guess I was so right on with whatever, and I didn't know it. So I don't know what happened. And I think then they knew heard my seance reputation. So the second one they called me was the Black Dahlia episode, I think. And we did a seance, and I'm channeling that guy. So then it's great. I love it. So then it just, whenever they need me, I show up. And again, I never know where I'm going. They say drive here or fly here, or we'll have somebody pick you up. I have to beg to get the address. It's like, I'm not that good a psychic. You have to give me the address. Really, I need it. Not that good. But that's how it just it just all natural fell into it.
Yeah. So you've done quite a few stage film and TV roles.
Yeah.
What's been your most memorable?
I think when I worked, some of my smaller one is a more memorable one. I think when I got to dance with Gregory Hines, because I was a tap dancer and he was my hero, deceased dancer, Gregory Hines. He choreographed for me, and I danced in a film with him, and that was early on. I was pretty young. A really cool one, and especially what's going on in the world right now, is I got to play Jill Biden in a film a couple of years ago, and now she's going to be the first lady. So I played the first lady. Yeah. In the film, wow. she was the second lady in the film. We weren't doing lookalikes. I wasn't trying to be her, but I was playing her. So they had an Obama and a Michelle and a Joe and a Jill Biden. We weren't trying to do impersonators, but just the essences of. So now it's like, and now she's going to be first lady. So that was really fun. I don't know, so many little things on the acting world. It's just people are really nice to me. Like some of the nicest people I've ever worked with, Martin Sheen, Burt Reynolds, way back again in those early days when you're so nervous and you don't know what you're doing and how they can calm you down. So it's good in the non-reality world. In reality, I think my favorite things, or I like competition shows. That I challenged myself. I had all these health issues, and I got rid of them because I'm a witch, and I believe we can all do that. I totally believe we can all do that. So at 30, I was told by 50. If I was alive, which I probably wouldn't be alive from cancer and all this stuff and a brain tumor and fractures in my back. So I wouldn't even make it to 50. But if I did make it to 50, I would be in a wheelchair for sure because I had 5 fractures in my back. And I just kind of went, no, we are human. We are amazing. I got rid of everything. So at 50 instead, I literally tried out for Wipeout, which here, I don't know if you had it, the world's largest obstacle.
Wipeout,
Yeah.
we
The
do.
big
Yeah.
balls.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
I beat like
Amazing.
70,000 people. And it was the scariest, hardest, coldest, most painful, most empowering thing I ever did. And I used my magic to get on it. I was not the most athletic. So that was pretty powerful. And it's so hard and so scary. And I did it. So that became my new hobby. And then I'm like, okay, what do I not that I'm not that athletic anymore. I'm like, I don't cook, so I'm going to get on MasterChef. So I beat like another 100,000 people to get on MasterChef and cook for Gordon Ramsay and Joe Bastian. So that's my new hobby. And then I did it with America's Got Talent. I go, okay, I do not have any of the kind of talents that you could do to get on America's Got Talent, like the singing. I'm not that thing. So, next thing I know, I'm rolling around on the Dolby with Howie Mandel trying to psychically read his dog. It was a mess, but it was funny. So that, I don't know, they're all memorable. I like life. I like people. I like humans. I like experience. I like helping people. I mean, I get just as satisfied teaching my little Zoom classes, my $10 Zoom classes, because people are amazing. Life is amazing. I just want everybody to grasp it. Whether we're on an investigation at, fun ghost at the Hollywood Roosevelt or scary ghosts at the prison, or, working with teens.
Yes, agreed.
So obviously you're a psychic medium and also witch. Can you tell us how that all became apparent for you?
Well,
when you first
I really think it's just because it was born in me. I wasn't raised with any kind of I didn't get taught out of me. I didn't have a religious family at all. My grandfather was this famous Freudian psychoanalyst, like practically card-carrying evangelical atheist. So like God or spirituality was a different or dirty word. But I'd go by these houses of worship and I'd see the energy there. It didn't matter if it was a Christian church, Jewish church, a temple, Buddhist. I'd see the energy and I'd want to go in. And I think by the time I was 13, I asked my mom, I was like being brave if I can go to a church or something. And she's like, you can do what you want. And I became a seeker. So I started looking into every religion and studying every religion. It's like, this is a little too tight and needy. This, they want you to follow too much. I'm not a follower. And I just kind of ended up on the more pagan elemental, since I am very elemental in my work. I talk to rocks, I talk to trees, I talk to spirits, and fairies have always been a part of my life. And again, not in a woo-woo way, it just is. So the more pagan, more elemental pagan path just landed with me. And the psychic medium is just, again, talking to dead people since I was 4, doing seances since I was 7. And the psychic thing, I don't know. My mom always said, yeah, Grandma did that too. So just seeing, because I see energy. I'm never going to tell anybody, when you walk out that door, cement's going to hit on your head. It's going to fall off because you just take away their power. You could say, be careful walking out the door because that could happen. So I see energy. Yeah. I see blocks in people. I see where they came from. So I'm not like a predictive psychic because that takes away people's free will. But I do see patterns that you're on. So I work more like a coach that way. It's like, this is why you always pick the wrong lover. This is why, and you're going to have this kind of a life unless you choose to change it. Then the witch side of me takes over and go, let's change it.
Makes sense.
Oh, right.
So, okay, you kind of answered anyway. As a psychic medium, do you find like at times like it's quite overwhelming, like when things come through?
It can be, but one of the first things I learned was having an on-off switch, and I highly recommend anybody who works in this field, whether you call yourself a psychic medium or I'm an empath, because everybody these days is an empath. The veil is thinning. Yeah. We're moving into that age of Aquarius. You have to be able to protect yourself when you want to. When I want to go to the grocery store to buy food, I don't want to see the lady in the aisle's dead mother trying to talk to me. I don't even think that's ethical saying that if she hasn't asked me. So I learned early, literally, it looks like an on-off light switch. I know some people use it as I open the door and close the door, open the veil. I have an on-off switch. So when it's off, I get to be just as normal as everybody. I don't want to have premonitions. I don't want to talk to guides. And then when you turn it on, it's that much stronger. It's because, again, it's in witchcraft, you have your threshold, lay down your broom or whatever. This side of the room is Broom is the regular mundane world, the logical world where you pay your rent and you go to work. On this side of the broom, no rules exist. Magic happens. Gravity doesn't exist. There's spirits and fairies and angels and things. So I just think I just naturally kind of learned that delineation early on. And then in studying religion, metaphysics, occult sciences, regular science, the through line of everything that is energy, and that's where everything comes together anyway.
Yes. Gaynor has asked a question.
Okay.
And said, what's the best way an empath to switch? What's the best way an empath to switch off?
Intent is number one. The desire to do it is number one. Always, just like in spell working, just like in manifestation. I started out with doing a little breathing exercise and a physical movement. I'm a big believer in that mind, body, spirit thing. 20,000 books are written on psychology books, self-help books, spiritual books, occult books. You have to believe it. You have to set your head or you'll never get it. You'll never surpass your own belief system. Body, you have to take action. And then spirit is what makes it happen. Even in witchcraft, that's what spellcrafting is. The creation, the working, the dispatch. So if you want to create an empath, and again, there's so many empaths out there, especially in our world, people, you get involved in ghosts and things because you see ghosts and things, or you have that draw there. I first came up with like a breathing exercise, like, okay, if I do 3 deep breaths and I come up with a mudra or a hand, I open my palm or I stick my thumb in my palm. I am now closing the door so that I'm now shutting my third eye. I'm shutting that gland right here I'm closing down that crown of illumination. Of course, it'll be there if any big meteor's falling. You don't want to take off the whole world, but that whole psychic thing, you just turn it down. And I like that, having a physical movement, go waka, waka, waka. It doesn't have to be serious, or it could be serious. 3 deep breaths and I flap my eyes 2 times. But intent, work with an action that you're doing and it gets easier and easier. And soon you could just do it with a snap of a finger.
There you go. Hope that answered Gainy's question. Yeah. Another one, Tracy Evans has said, have you added any more Barbie dolls to your collection?
No, I have not added. Belle's looking at me from afar. No, if I pointed my camera this way, but it's too dark over there. There's my Belle. She doesn't have enough light on her. It's okay. It's getting dark. I have hundreds of Barbie dolls. I have every Barbie I've ever collected since I was born. Cheap ones, expensive ones, they all hang out. They're all out of the box. They're not haunted. Not one of them is haunted, but they are the ultimate goddess. So I have not added any new ones. I'm kind of moratorium myself. My house is a little crowded.
So when it comes to your rituals that you do, could you tell us a bit more about them?
Yeah, well, I work. I'm very elemental in my work, and I do the 8 major Sabbats, the compass world, the 4 solstices, spring, and then Yule and the Stara. I have a small group of people that I work with kind of regularly. We're not real organized. We're just fairly new. I was with an organized coven for years and years and years, but everybody separated, moved away. In different places. I do, because I live in LA, so there's some beautiful public rituals. I even lead some. So I don't know. I kind of, it's my life. It's how I do the 8 major Sabbats. I will do full moon workings, my ritual work. Ritual is where you're going through the veils and you're working with deity or moon cycles or elements. Spell working is where you're shifting and doing. So it's just part of my life. I'm always very much aware of the moon cycle. On the waxing moon, I'm choosing to add into my life. On the waning moon, I'm trying to get rid of what's not serving me. On the full moon, I'm celebrating and in gratitude. On the new moon, that's when I'm doing some contemplation. And it makes your life that much more productive and that much more happy and flow easy. So it's just kind of, I guess I do very official rituals, and now we're going to stand left and we're going to call the east and call the west and call the north. But I like that it's just become just part of my life, who I am and what I do.
Yeah. Definitely. We know that you were voted the best psychic medium in America. Was it 2012 and 13?
And 14 and
number
15
3
and
in the
something.
world.
It's crazy. I shared it a lot. Some with a girl named she looks like she could be my sister, Jennifer Wallens. Yeah, what happened in, I don't know, maybe 2010 or 11. I got a call from somebody, and they said, we are doing an article for a magazine on the 10 best psychics in the world. And I'm like, great. Why are you calling me? Especially at this point. Again, I was still in the closet about that stuff. So I wasn't a known entity. And I'm like, why are you calling me? They go, no, not the most famous, not the most rich, the ones that got the best reputation for what they do. And I go, okay. So he interviewed me. He's this beautiful, he's this a lawyer, linguist, speaks 21 languages, and these other 9 people. And he kind of fell in love with psychics and mediums. And he, coming from a law background, and he's also like an alien expert, because most of those 21 languages, he's written hundreds of books on Anunnaki and stuff, Maximilian de Lafayette. But after doing this article for a magazine, he said, you guys need a professional organization. If anybody needs one, you do. You know, plumbers have them, doctors have them, teachers have them.
Yeah.
And if anybody needs them, you do, because it's true. For every one good and legit one of us, there's 100,000 scam artists, fakes, or just people who are bad at it, or just really want your money over wanting to help you, or they tell you you'll have a curse attached, or they've got to do a $1,000 candle. And I get that every day. So he started actually a nonprofit called the American Federation of Certified Psychics and Mediums, where you are rigorously tested by people to see that you really have the gift. And again, if you want to be tested in crystals, you have to know crystals. In witchcraft, you have to know witchcraft. In astrology, you have to know astrology, and you get these different certificates. And he just started bringing people together. And from that, I think the publisher that he worked with, I'm not sure, Times Square Publishing, again, on the not who's the most famous thing, did a worldwide competition. So it really was like a people's choice. But people were in it that from Africa and Indonesia, and it was really amazing bringing us all together. So yeah, I'm honored to be a part of it. I'm honored to always come up in the top in all these crazy things. I'm sad they don't do it anymore, because he's organization, he's very ill. I think he's 120. He's very old. He's not very human. He's very more than human, but there's nobody to kind of run it. So but it's really great what he created and bringing us together, and integrity, and teaching people what to do. Even if somebody's not certified, check their Yelp, check their reviews, check everything.
Exactly. You've done some books as well, haven't you?
I do. I've been a part of a bunch of books, like 20 different books, but my book is called Old World Magic. This is though so funny. I grabbed an early copy. It doesn't have the stripe. Old World Magic for the Modern World, which I created because talking to people, working with people every day, I would see everybody gives away their power. They give away their power to other people. They give away their power to really limiting belief systems, personal belief systems, religious belief systems. They give away their power to fear and self-doubt. And so it's like, and the way I see energy and the way I simplify things, it's like, we'll do this and this and this. And you change your vision half an inch over here and you get a whole new view. So I started creating these things like how to, if you're too chatty head, how to stop. If you're emotionally stuck, how to stop, because I see that. And yes, it's great to meditate for an hour if you can do that. But as a rule, we have 30 seconds to pull it together. So I came up with all these really easy, free, and fast things to just make your life better. I have a section on love and spell working and how to do spell working and how to talk to the dead and weight loss and blah, blah, blah. And easy, quick. You don't have to be a psychic. You don't have to be a medium. You don't have to be a witch. You don't have to have Eye of Newt from the far reaches, wherever. Just working at just grab your power back, do some magic. So that's what I do.
Definitely.
Tips, tricks, and techniques to balance, empower, and create a life you love. And again, it's buy my book. I'm not going to make a lot of money off it. I'll make like 50 cents, but
that was what I was going to say, actually. Where can people buy your books from?
Amazon. Actually, the best. When I do conventions, there are not that many bookstores yet. But Amazon, in whatever country, it's been a bestseller in like 5 countries: UK, Australia, US, I think France and Canada. Bestseller. So yeah, your country's Amazon. Because if you go to Amazon America in the UK, it'll cost $50. But if you go to Amazon UK, it's a couple bucks. It's cheap. Go to your Amazon.
Brilliant. Amazon. That's where we're going to get your book.
Yes, I should have sent you one in advance. Who knew? And you can get it in an ebook, or an audio book, or a print book.
You can get it on ebook too.
Ooh,
okay,
that's cool.
So it's available on Kindle.
Yep, it's available on Kindle. You can have it like that in 3 seconds flat. Modern technology.
Yeah.
There we go.
Wow.
Ingrid had said, do you do remote viewing?
I do some remote viewing. It's not the thing I focus on because why or how, but I have started doing more and more and more, working with people or working people from afar, even from investigations to finding the lost whatever to yeah. I've never
I never understand how remote viewing works.
Yeah.
No, I mean, tell us a bit more about remote viewing. We've not really experienced this one.
Well, when you're on the other side, whether ghost or just on the other side of the veil, time and space doesn't exist. I know that from talking to spirits my whole life. So that's hard for our little human minds to not understand time and space not existing. But if time and space this is our man-made concept. It really is. And science is getting there with this in quantum mechanics and quantum sciences. But if time and space doesn't exist, and if we cross through that veil, so it doesn't matter if we're remotely viewing something on the other side of the planet, and probably even, or remotely viewing something from 500 years ago, perhaps even remotely viewing into the future. That's what we do when we do past life regressions. That's what we do when we go into psychic work into what the future could be. Doesn't have to be, because we have free will. So I think remote viewing just fits right into there. So take yourself to that place. When I was a little kid, again, just in like astral travel point of view, my mom would say, "Oh, we're going to go meet the neighbors next door." And I was really shy. I'm like, I went there last night. She's like, "You did not go there last night. You're 5 years old." And I would explain every color of every room, where there was wallpaper, where the hall was, because I'd been there last night in a form of remote viewing, whatever you want to call it.
Wow. I mean, we've been to places before where we think we've been there before, but we haven't been there.
Yeah.
It's happened to me quite a few times on places we've been to, places we've been to investigate. I know the place inside out, and I'm thinking, well, I've never been there before.
Or have you?
It's really weird. Or have I?
Yeah.
True.
No, I've done that at a couple times where I've had time and space cross. Once I found a house. Somebody told me who I was the reincarnation of, and this was years and years and years ago. And I'm like, and I do start out skeptical always, because I just like that better, and then move into it. But I'm like, yeah, everybody's Cleopatra. I wasn't Cleopatra, but it was a Hollywood actress, and I didn't even know who she was. And then I went to a bookstore, when we still had bookstores, and she didn't have my face, but she had my eyes, and she wrote like me, and she had my kind of karmic history at the time. I was younger, and she was born and she died at 30. I was born exactly 30 years later. And then at 30, instead of dying again, I took my power back when they found out that stuff, and I'm not sick anymore. So, so, okay, I'm going to believe the universe kept. All of a sudden, this woman I'd never heard of, I'm in the grocery store and people are showing me pictures of her, all this. So I said, I should be able to find the house. I found the house anyway, without having the address. I built this house. When I walked into it years later, I knew every inch of it. That deja vu thing, I knew every inch of it. I knew what had been changed. I don't even know, was I there 5 minutes or 5 hours? It was like that, whoo, time, space is gone. So that's probably what you experienced. So whether what's why you're drawn into it, or in a different dimension altogether.
That's impressive when you look at it that way.
We have another question from Tracy Evans.
Okay.
What's the best place you have investigated?
Ooh, the best place that best or scariest? That's two. The scariest place.
Let's do both.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
The scariest place might be the last one I did, and that was at the Cecil Hotel. I don't know if you guys have seen it because it's not everywhere yet. It's the
No.
next,
Not yet.
not everywhere
No.
yet. But again, I didn't know I was going. A lot of people just knew that Elisa Lam story. The girl was found in the water tower, and people had been drinking her for 2 weeks, and all the elevator craziness. But I didn't know all the other things. But the second you got in there, it starts coming in on you, taking over. And I was up in a room, and I had to get out of there. I'm opening the window, and Zach thought I was going to jump out. And I'm like, I was really possessed. And I didn't know why he was yelling at me. And then we went into I took him into another room, and I'm like covering up myself because this woman had been raped and murdered there. I didn't know that. That place is dark. Something is holding in spirits there. That's probably what drew in Richard Ramirez and some other serial killer. That place, that was probably the darkest. I think the funnest place, if you want to just the best place, I love my Hollywood. I love where the good ghosts hang out. It doesn't all make for good TV. So, but you don't want to hang. But how many times have I seen Marilyn Monroe at the pool at the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel? Or there's a place called the Hollywood Athletic Club, which was like a gym, like the first Tarzan would work out. And it's not like you're at the prison where the people, or the insane asylum, or where people were tortured and hurt. No, this is where people partied and played. And those are fun investigations, you guys. Don't always go to the dark and scary ones. Go see with ghosts who will play with you and drink with you and dance with you. And so I think, again, some of my Hollywood haunts. And other than that, I like somewhere in the middle of that. I do like old mining towns. Again, that's what we have out west is our old, like Virginia City. That's because, again, big in life, big in death. Somebody who's a quiet secretary is a quiet ghost. Somebody who's big, like a movie star, or somebody who's going to go be a miner, or they're going to conquer the world, they go for the gold rush, or they're big personalities, or big dark people, or light people, or less than honorable people. So you get more fun ghosts. So all those mining towns like Virginia City, Nevada City, Butte, Montana, I've been to a couple more. I'm going to go to Vulture City this year. They have big personality people that are following their dream there to get rich or whatever. Plus all the gold or silver or copper vibrates everything. It enhances everything. So I do like old mining towns.
We have another question from Ingrid.
Okay.
What does it mean when you see a friend's dead husband all the time?
Well, perhaps he's trying to talk to you. I mean, I would say if it's, more than twice, if you up to 3 times, there's a message there. So talk to him. If it feels negative, if you don't really think it's him, or if it's some trickster, I do believe this is our realm of existence, and spirits have to play by our rules. When we get all taken over, we've allowed that I do only when I know that I'm doing it. But when you see they got possessed, they gave away their power. Again, they didn't know better, or they got fearful, which will feed a negative spirit, or angry, which will feed a negative spirit. If you just go get out in the name of whatever you believe in, with authority, like a parent or a teacher. But if the dead husband feels like it really is trust your intuition. We all have it. It's right. Don't overthink it with your left brain. Go. If it feels like it's okay, ask him, why is he showing himself to you? Maybe is he worried about, I'm getting that he's worried about his wife. I get something about her. So if he's coming to you to talk to his wife, that's what I'm psychically getting. But ask him yourself. Yeah. Again, and if you're not sure it's him, or you're not in the right space for it, tell him to leave, or tell him to give you signs in a different way. Take control of the situation in a respectful way. Take control of the situation. But that's what I'm getting. He really does have it. He really wants to talk to you or give you a message. And I do think it's about your friend.
Yeah, so she did say that she can hear him as well.
She could hear him. Okay, so
Yeah,
so
she can
don't
hear him.
people. It's so funny. I mean, you guys don't because you're paranormal investigators, but regular people, it's so funny. A spirit comes in the world and they just stare at it, and then the spirit just stares back. It's like everybody's job to just talk. Are you male or female? Are you here? Are you human? Are you good? Are you bad? Just talk.
Yeah.
She also said as well, his wife asked me how he died.
I'll put that up.
Feels like he drowned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His wife asked me how he died. I feel he drowned.
And she's an empath.
She's an empath. So go with that. I mean, you don't have to say you know anything for sure, but just say, I am feeling this. I'm feeling that he drowned, had to go. And it's so his wife doesn't know. So maybe he's just trying to tell her so she can know. So he's telling her through her friend. So if you're feeling, feel free to say that. You just be gentle with everything. Again, not he drowned. It's just he may have drowned. He's telling me, he's talking to me. I think he wants you to know that.
Somebody also asked earlier on if you were doing readings tonight.
Am I doing tonight? I can.
Yeah. Can't find the comment, but somebody did ask in the comments. Don't know if that's something you would want to do tonight.
Sure.
Yeah.
Entirely up to you.
Would you like us to pick somebody, or would you like to see who you're drawn to?
Oh yeah, however you want to do it, because I'm not seeing everything that you guys are saying. My phone's ringing. But,
okay.
Here, I'll be back in 1 second. I'm gonna grab my rods because in these fast readings, I like tools. So you find a question.
All right, guys, if you would like a reading.
Yeah, if you could maybe post your comment. If anyone wants to read it.
Pen down. Did you move, baby girl? No. She wants more of a spot like my bell. Sorry. Oh, wait, I can't hear you. Hold on. Headphones. I just flew in. I was up. Okay. I'm back. Okay.
You're back.
Did you find a question?
We got one. Gaynor Hodgson. I'll put her comment up. Okay,
Gaynor, can you just ask me what you want to know about? Because in these little readings, like I do them on Live Paranormal, just say, talk about love, talk about health, talk about family. I talk to my God, talk to my dead grandma. Anything specific, Gaynor, you would like? Otherwise, I could just go real broad, but it's going to be broad. But if she wants broad, how real time is this?
We got about 20 odd minutes left.
Okay.
Very good. So yeah, ask a direct question if you want. That would help a lot. Gaynor said health and family.
Health and family. Okay. Hi, Gaynor. Nice to meet you. What a pretty smile. Okay, what I can do. All right, let me get. Okay. Starting out really good. I'm not seeing a big thing. I'm seeing pretty stable in the family. I'm seeing stable and stuff. Who you are, Gaynor, you have a lot of integrity. You know who you are, and that's going to carry you through life and everything in your health. You have something new coming up, it could be a new project, a new hobby, even new perception, but it's going to bring you a lot more joy because you can use health-wise, you need more nurturing, if that makes sense. So self-care, outside care, but it's got to start with yourself. So I'm seeing a definite over your head, take care of yourself because nobody else is going to do it. Get that nurturing and however, but something new is you're really creative. I do talk very much right brain, left reasoning, rational. You're fine. You're smart, but you really need to feed that creative or spiritual or artist side of yourself more for fulfillment. I think that you are going for a little bit of a crossroads right now, doing some soul searching, doing some thinking, and that's a good thing. You're going to go well. There is something you need to definitively let go of, though, and and you're holding on to a betrayal about something. And I'm a big believer that, again, that we could cure anything health-wise, but also that stuff that gets in our way can cause illness, and usually does. So the thing you need to let go of, it's a betrayal. It could be a person betrayed. It could just be life betrayed you, or a situation betrayed you, but it's not serving you. So truly let it go. If you are having any health issues, I think it's just an energy hold somewhere, and you let go of this thing. Think of it like, she can't answer this. So if think of it for I picture with glasses. Picture that feeling of betrayal or betrayed, like a pair of weird color sunglasses. Have you ever tried on a pair of sunglasses that are like too yellow or they're too purple and they color your whole world the wrong color? You have on those glasses just a little bit, Miss Gaynor. So take off the glasses. Resolve, don't resolve. Forgive, don't forgive. Forget, don't forget. Revenge, not revenge. The only one it's hurting is you, something you're holding on to. And I do think it's affecting, I keep getting lower body, something perhaps stress issues, stomach issues, I don't know. If you don't have them, you could develop them, but let go of, and I'm not necessarily even getting that it's a person as much as a situation or a way of being that you've held with you a long time. I think it's something that got re-triggered from when you were little, and then it got re-triggered as an adult. Again, it could be a word, it could be a memory, it could be anything like that. So take off the glasses because it's not serving you, and then you'll have a whole different view, because those glasses color a whole 360 degrees. And it's only, even if it's one little section of your thought pattern. So let it go. And you're going to feel a whole lot more energy. And I see something growing for you. I don't know what that means. Your family growing, your money growing, but I see a lot of growth coming in and new things coming in for you. I hope that helps. I'm going to go further.
Thank you.
Does that help, Gaynor? I don't know. Does that make sense? But feed that creative side of yourself. Really, you're this beautiful spirit. And let go.
Hope that helps you.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Okay, good.
Got another one.
Okay.
Where we go? Valerie West said, yes, please. And her question was, will we be moving house this year?
Will you moving what?
Will we be moving house this year?
Oh, houses this year. House.
Valerie West.
Let's ask this again. My first answer really is going to be, if you want to, you should move. If you don't want to, you won't. And you be in charge of that. Don't let any psychic decide what you are. We could look at the probability of it, the possibility of it. Other than that, let's see. My dowsing rods, they're very popular this week. They cross on yes and they don't cross on no. If you so choose to move and you want, will you be moving this year? You're leading towards it. I don't think that you are. I wouldn't, you can, again, don't put your face in dowsing rods, but there's something, if you want to move, there's something that's not quite ready is what I'm psychically getting. Something that's not quite ready. Will you be happy where you are this year? Yes. So whatever it is, if you're looking to move, get happier with where you are, and then the other stuff will come that much faster if that's just what works for me. But if you want it to move this year, you have to work harder at something, or perception change or something. That's what I'm getting. I hope that helps. So let me see. If you really, really, really want to move this year, are you going to? It's just barely. Again, you would have to really create it. Mind, body, spirit. Do some magic, do some spell working, nothing negative. But you can be happier and it can not matter as much. But I do get that you are going to move. It's just this year may or may not be.
Hope that helps.
Hope that helps, definitely.
There's another one I saw from Ingrid.
Hi, Ingrid.
Yeah, she'd like a reading.
She said she'd like help with her friend. This is the one that was saying about
The
she can hear him.
whose husband. Okay, that's good. Can she say her friend's first name? If she can't, I'll start anyway. But if I could have her first name, we'd have more permissions.
Name.
Okay, I can help you with your friend.
Her first name is Deb.
Deb? Okay.
Debbie, Deborah, Deb.
Deborah. Okay, so what I'm getting is your friend really needs to move on. She's holding on. She had this idea, and I'm going to show cards, and I'm not reading from it. Here's that happy ever after. This is my life. She had her husband, whatever that was. She had a thought pattern. Well, whatever. This is how life is going to be. He died. The death card. He died. Now this is about faith. This is about literal faith. Her faith that life can go on. Faith that she could be happy. I'm getting that she has some guilt about something, which she shouldn't have. She didn't do anything or guilt about moving on. If she hasn't done it, she definitely needs to do a dumb supper for him. She's holding on to, if you don't know what that is, it's in my book, but I'll tell you what it is. It's a backwards dinner. Have a dinner for, you guys could both be there, but do it together. It could be casual or dressy. Have a dinner for him, his favorite, or a place for him, or just a drink for. You have to do it backwards. Start with dessert, and then you have the main course, and then you end up with soup or salad or appetizer. That shows the other side it's for them, because the other side is reversed, like a mirror image. So it'll go, oh, this is a dumb supper. This is a silent supper for me. So again, as dressy as casual if you want. During the dinner, she could be sad, you could be sad, but also we do talk about fun things because like they're there, because they are. So just like, oh, we used to do this and this was great and this was great. Whatever you want to talk about. Somewhere in the dinner, go silent for just a few minutes, completely silent. And he will communicate with each of you to your own level, your own ability and your own comfort level. You might see or smell or taste, or you might hear something. Just a few minutes of silence. And then you guys can talk about it together. Then you don't have to do the whole thing. I don't think complete silent dinners work in this modern world so much for people. I think just a little bit of, and then you guys could talk about what you felt or saw or whatever it is. But then at the end of the dinner, which this is the most important, at the end of the dinner, which is the beginning of the dinner, because you're up to super salad course or whatever, she has to say goodbye to his fleshly body. Because that's the one thing you can't have back unless you're into zombies and maggots and drowned body. This fleshly body has to be cut. She's holding on to that. It's her dead person, her dead lover, her dead husband. It needs to be the spirit husband, spirit lover, spirit friend, your friend. Because we have these cords. I see cords, and we have cords. All the living people, cords, heart to heart, heart to heart. We use that terminology all the time. I cut the cords, no strings attached. We have them. When someone dies, that has to get cut, and then it has to go third eye. So she needs to let go of his fleshly body, no matter how long it's been that he's been dead or recent, so long as it's over 40 days. Always wait 40 days. That's the crossover time. It's biblical even in every belief system. But at the end of the day, just, I'm letting you go. I am okay. You're okay. It helps him to go on in peace, and it helps her to go on, and then they can even have a better relationship. It helps the mourning, and it helps her go on with her life. Cut this cord. Now it could be a third eye relationship. Spirit husband, not dead husband. And everybody will be happier, and he will be happier. And maybe that's what he's really trying to tell you, so you can be there for her, so she could let go and change the relationship. She can't have him back in that form, but he'll never die if she lets him be the form he's in. Whether she wants to talk to him or not, that's up to her afterwards. You know, some people are comfortable talking to spirit, some people aren't. But she's got to let the living person go. I hope that helps. And 40 days that's the transition. It's actually astrological. It's a planet thing. It's a planetary thing. But if you look almost anything, even in every religion, I'll even just talk your basic biblical. Jesus was whatever lost for 40. Moses was 40 days. Noah, the flood was 40 days. That is the transition from here to there. So wait the 40 days. I've had a few spirits show up in the first weeks after death, before they're really into the transition, especially with suicides or young people dying, that the parents need some kind of closure or things. But if they don't show up to you, leave them alone for 40 days.
I was going to say, whilst you're on the readings, Patti, have you ever had a really memorable one that you just can't forget that you've given somebody?
Every day. I can't think of a one. Again, I just want people to see their power and to walk. I want everybody to leave with this whole new perception, a thought pattern of, wow, life isn't so bad. Life is actually good. And this, I could do this. Yeah. So I could see, I've healed myself. I've seen people get rid of illnesses easy. I've seen people, change their life pattern. I've seen to go from broke to rich. And not because we did witchcraft or anything, they changed their perception. So, but I think mostly the ones that when people can get peace, can find peace.
Yes.
Because so often they're so tied up in their own, and it's so often attached to their own guilt about things or their own insecurities about things and their own self-doubt. And they've just been beating themselves up for so long. And you just help them to see a different way.
Yeah, that's true. Gaynor said thank you for hers, and it made a lot of sense for her.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
It's good when it is good when it makes sense.
Yeah. I hope.
Carry on.
But go ahead, because I'm not one of those psychics going, yeah, and the unicorns will dance and all will be well. It's like, that doesn't help me in life. So anyway, you were saying, I interrupted you, something about Valerie or what?
Valerie said, where was it to? I go too far.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for my ghosts for stopping us. Spirits in the house.
Oh, you thought, thank you thought my ghosts were stopping us. What? Is she one person we talked to? No.
I don't know what that means. You did do the reading about her moving house. Will they be moving house?
But I think
they have spirits in their house as well.
Let's look at that really quick if you want to. So I knew there is something stopping you. So talk to the spirits and ask them why. Ask them, tell them you have somebody better move in. Do a clearing if you haven't done a clearing. Clear the house counterclockwise to release, clockwise to fill it back up with love, and whoever moves there to left. Make sure you leave your broom at the house when you move. It doesn't even have to be your witch's broom, just your regular broom. While you're there, beat the bounce, go around, claim that house as your own from the spirit. So your spirit, I guess, just doesn't want you. I knew something was holding you back. So talk to it or convince it or bribe it or whatever you have to do.
There you go. Hope that helps.
Yay.
And Ingrid said, yes, it has helped. And she hasn't said goodbye. Her friend hasn't said goodbye.
Yeah, it is the most beautiful, no matter what you do, funerals and memorial services and wakes. To me, every time I've been a part of one or gone to one, the dumb supper, which again, dumb means silent, not stupid, or silent supper has been the most beautiful of all the things. Even if it's, having pizza, starting out with ice cream bars and ending up in pizza, backwards. You have to do it backwards. So she has to say goodbye. And this is a good way to do it. And then you release. You have to release. Because
then it will help. So.
Yeah. So when it comes to a general investigation, do you prefer, what's your thoughts on like the apps, or do you prefer, do you think they're any good?
I do. I'm not, because I go in kind of as the medium and feeling things out. As a rule, even on Ghost Adventures, I've always got my rods with me. There's all these guys with their fancy equipment. I'm like, but I put it on for a joke of the app, and I've got a bunches of them. Just because they're fun, but I like Ghost Radar. I put it on like years and years ago, and I thought it was a joke, really, because it was a free app, and this is before there was a lot of apps, and it literally told me the news 3 hours before the news happened. Serious news. It was like,
Oh, wow.
island children Norway killed, and 3 hours later, some crazy person drove on an island in Norway and killed some children. And so was it last year? This was so funny because we were doing a 4-hour live ghost adventures, which ghosts don't understand break for commercial. Live TV is not good. I mean, as far as doing an investigation, it was so hard. Oh my God. But everybody was there. Chris Fleming, Gary Galka, who invented the Mel meter and all these things, Justin Spurrier, who's their tech now, Joshua Warren, all the best of the best inventors were there, and we're all sequestered in a room, not knowing what's going on. And I'm just in seventh heaven going, what am I doing here? This is so great. And they were all talking about their fancy equipment and all this and the new inventions. And I'm like, oh God, I'm going to be brave. They're going to kick me out of here. They're going to kick me out of the room, and they're never going to let me in again. I go, I like Ghost Radar. Don't hit me.
It's a good app.
Don't hit me. It is. And Gary Galka told me, Gary Galka said, yeah, he goes, it's totally legit. He said whoever invented it literally stole it from the person who invented the Ovilus, cut and pasted the Ovilus. So it is. So you don't have to have, I mean, equipment is great. You don't have to have fancy equipment though. Have your intuition and have a free app or a dollar app. I like personally, I don't have one because I'm not tech. I love SLS cameras because for all the years that I've been seeing things and going, whoop, the ghost going like this. Now somebody on the camera in the other room can see that the ghost is going like this. And that just, that people can see what I'm seeing is amazing. Recently I was at a haunted theater in Ventura, and I've never seen this on the SL. My friend Stefan Brigatti, he's got My Darkest Hour radio show. He's a really good investigator. He goes, the ghost is right there. I go, I feel it. I go, touch my hand, reach out for my hand. And they even saw this little red beam of like light beam between the two hands. And he got it. I just love to get that in technology, what I get. Zach and the guys like to use some kind of a paranormal puck with me. They think I'm some kind of a conduit. They think I'm some kind of a conduit on that one. So they always use it. There's a bunch of stuff we did at the Cecil House that's not in the episode. I mean, they always shoot way more than they ever need, but it was really good. So I don't know if it'll ever come out in one of those extras episodes, but that's stuff that they were getting off the paranormal puck with me and stuff like that. So those are fun, but I'm personally not technical.
Okay.
That's wonderful.
Well, you got one more last.
We have
enough time. From Karen Frey.
Hi, Karen.
Will I thank you, Patti? Will I change my career this year?
You're going to make more money too. If you want to, again, I am never going to tell anybody what. If you want to change your year, will you change your career this year? Yes. And I think you want to. Will you change it? Yes. And it's going to be a really good thing. And you're going to have a lot more energy from it. And you're going to like whatever it is, if you so choose. And it's because it's going to be more heart-based, if that makes sense. So, yeah.
Hope that helps, Karen.
Yeah. So
thank you very much for joining us, Patti. It's been a pleasure.
Guys. So like me, follow me, do all those things. Facebook, Patti Negri, Psychic Medium, PattiNegri.com. Buy my book if you want it. And just keep up the magic, you guys. Thank you for what you're doing. Give to this beautiful cause. Because people it's a rough time right now in the world. It's a rough time. So we need to help each other.
Definitely.
Definitely agreed.
All right.
Thank you so much for tonight.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a great rest of the night. Keep going, marathon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Patti. See you soon.
See you soon. Bye. I figure out how to close it out.
Bye.
Thank you guys for joining us tonight. It's been a pleasure as always. We are going to play you a short video. I'll play it for you now. And coming up after is the Tivoli venue, the theatre, sorry, the Tivoli Theatre. So stay tuned and watch that one.